Hi, I'm Rob with Hayneedle, and this is a short video on the assembly of the theStamina Recumbent Bike. The estimated time in this assembly is around an hour and a half, and the tools you will need are a multi-tool and an Allen wrench, both of which are provided. We'll start by opening our box and removing its contents, then locate your instructions. Inside, you'll find a parts and hardware list. Take a brief inventory to make sure you have all the pieces needed for this assembly. Using two of our bolts labeled as 47, two of our spring washers labeled as 65, two of our washers labeled as 67, and two of our hex nuts labeled as 61, we'll now attach our front stabilizer labeled as 47 to our frame. To do this, we'll first insert our bolts into our stabilizer. Once in place, we'll then insert the ends of them sticking out into our frame. From the other side, we'll add first our lock washer, then our flat washer, and finally our hex nut. Once you have these on both sides, we'll then take our tool provided to tighten down our nut and secure it into place. Using the same hardware, we'll now attach our back stabilizer in the same way. Using our bolts labeled as 49, our washers labeled as 69, and our hex nuts labeled as 59, we'll now attach our pieces 5 and 6 to our base. To do so, start with your side that says R for right, insert your bolts. Once in place, you'll then insert into the frame, then attaching your left piece on the other side. We'll first add our flat washer, then our hex nut, and tighten down using our tool. Using two of our bolts labeled as 50, two of our washers labeled as 64, two of our spring washers labeled as 66, and two of our nuts labeled as 60, we'll now attach our piece 7 to our base. To do so, we'll line up the holes in our piece 7 with the holes in our base. Once in place, we'll then insert our bolts through the front and into the back. From the opposite side of our bolts, we'll add first our washers, then our lock washers, and finally our nuts. We'll tighten into place using our tool, and we'll repeat this step on the opposite side. Using 4 of our bolts labeled as 51, we'll now attach our seat labeled as 41. To do so, line up the holes on the back of your seat with the 4 holes on your base. Once in place, from the bottom, we'll insert our bolts then tighten into our seat. Once you have all 4 of your bolts in place, you can then take your Allen wrench with a Phillips bottom and fully tighten into place. Using our remaining 4 bolts labeled as 51, we'll now attach our backrest labeled as 42. To do so, line up the 4 holes with the 4 holes on your frame. Once in place, we'll then insert our bolts and tighten into place. Once you have all 4 of your bolts in place, you can then again use your screwdriver to fully tighten. Now attach our piece 26. First, untighten the screw on your frame and set to the side. And pull out your wires, insert through 26, and out of the hole on the side. We'll then slip 26 and reinsert your bolt. Once you have your bolt in, you can then use your Allen key to fully tighten into place. We'll now attach our piece 25. First, take your screw out of your post and set it to the side. We'll then take the end of 25, insert through our metal piece sticking out, then stretch up and over. We'll then insert the metal piece back into our post, line up the hole where the screw was, and reinsert. Once in place, take your screwdriver and fully tighten it into place. Now we'll attach our pedals. To do this, simply insert into the bracket and turn clockwise. Repeat for the opposite side. We'll now attach our digital reader. First, take the 4 screws out of the back and lay to the side. Then open up the panel and insert your batteries. Once you have your batteries in place, we'll then connect the cord on the end to the cord sticking out of the post on your base. Once together, we'll then feed down the tube and line up the holes to reinsert our bolts. Once you have all 4 bolts back in place, you can then take your screwdriver and fully tighten them. And there you have your finished recumbent bike.